Hi, Tamara Gondor here, president of LaunchStreet, creator of the Innovation Quotient Edge assessment, and host of the podcast with Tamara Gondor, where I interview everyday innovators like you. First of all, congratulations on your purchase. I am so excited you're here, that you're going to take the assessment and unlock your greatest competitive advantage, your innovative mind, especially during uncertain times. I want to share with you the three experiences that came together that made me realize that innovation happens within all of us and in all places. It actually started when I was fresh out of college and I moved to New York City to take a job in advertising on Madison Avenue. Now, at that time, Madison Avenue was where all the great creative was coming from. I felt so fortunate to have this job. Now, I was the lowest of the low of the low on the organizational chart. I was an account coordinator. That meant that I was lucky if I got to make copies and get coffee. But I had a boss that saw my potential and liked to give me more responsibility than the title. So one day she pulls me into her office and she says, Tamara, I want you to put together and manage the big strategic meeting for the brand that we're working on. This was so exciting. This was everybody that touched the brand in any way came together and we created the strategy that set the tone for the entire year. It set the tone for how all the advertising and marketing for all of it, how it was all going to come together. I was so excited. So I assembled everybody. Now, we all needed to be there. Me, my team, the people in account management, the clients, of course, needed to be there. The accounts payable and the accounts receivable, the people that touched the money, the people that bought the media, everybody, and especially the creatives. And not just all creatives, but one creative in particular who worked on our brand with us, Steve. Maybe you knew a Steve. Steve was that guy that just had that creative mojo about him. You were just lucky if you were walking behind him when he said something absolutely brilliant. He just oozed innovation and creativity. He needed to be there. So I set the conference room, I get everything together, and the day arrives. We're going to start at 9 a.m. sharp. So I get there early. The bagels are there, the coffee's there, the table's there, the easel pads and the scented markers are at opposite sides of the room so that if anyone has an idea, we can capture it. So I stroll in at 8:45, so excited. Then the account team and the clients come in. Of course, they're always early. They grab their coffee and they're chatting. No Steve, but creatives are never early, so it's okay. Then 9 o'clock rolls around, our start time, and everybody else starts piling in. The accounts payable, the receivable, the media buy, the production people, they all start coming in. No Steve, but creatives are never on time. It's okay. 9:15 rolls around, 9:20. All right, creatives are always late, so he should be here any minute. 9:45 rolls around. And now everybody's sitting at the table, the coffee's cold, the bagels are gone, they're all staring at me. So I got to find Steve because obviously we can't do it without him. He's the one with the creative mojo. So I start dialing for dollars. I call the production floor to see if maybe he's editing something. Not there. I call the receptionist to see if he's entered the building. Not today. I finally catch him at home. He picks up the phone and I go, Steve, what are you doing? He says, what? I said, well, today's the big day. It's a strategy meeting. Why aren't you here? There's a pause. And then he goes, oh, tomorrow I wasn't feeling the mojo today, so I'm not coming in. You're going to need to reschedule that meeting. And then he hung up on me. I couldn't believe it. I went down, I sat at the table. I wanted to hide under the table. My career's flashing through my eyes. I'm thinking, this is it. I'm done. The one thing I'm supposed to do is make this meeting happen and get Steve here. I couldn't do. This awkward silence fills the room as everybody's staring at me. I thought, that's it. It's game over. But then the most amazing thing happened. First, someone from accounts payable and receivable pipes up and goes, hey, I've been seeing this trend with the numbers and the ad dollars, and it made me think of this idea. And then the person in media buy piped up and said, yeah, I've been seeing our competitors do some of this, and that led me to this idea. Before I knew it, the room was bubbling with ideas from the people and the places that you least expected. That day, we set the creative strategy for the brand that we were working on that increased sales by 18% over the next year without Steve. And I love thinking about that experience because it really is an amazing reminder to me of what I learned that day, which is this: innovation comes from everyone and everywhere, especially where you least expect it, if we give people the room, the permission to be innovators. Without Steve, there was a vacuum in the room that everybody else filled. Innovation comes from everyone and everywhere. That was the first experience. The second one was years later. And at this point in my career, I've moved on from advertising to brand strategy and innovation. Now I'm talking about innovation on stage. I was getting asked by a lot of clients and associations to speak because of my experience bringing products to market and working with consumer goods and Fortune 500 companies. And so I'm up on stage and I'm sharing all these big, lofty innovation stories, right? I'm talking about Apple and Google and Southwest and like all the ones, Amazon, right? All the ones that you probably already assume I would be talking about. And I'm sharing these big things that they do to drive a culture of innovation. All great things, but things that they do. And I'm pretty excited. And I get off stage and I think I've crushed it, right? Like I've nailed this event. And this woman comes up to me after and she goes, you know, Tamara, I really loved your talk and I love what all those guys do. But how does that apply to me in my world? How am I supposed to be innovative? I can't do any of that. And it was a very cold slap across the face that I needed. And it made me realize that there was this massive disconnect between how we talk about innovation, how we present it to the world. It's this big, lofty, breakthrough, disruptive, fluffy, kind of subjective thing, and how people really need to hear it to internalize it and to do it. And in my head, when that woman's talking to me, I'm thinking, well, what do you mean? Of course, like if you just do this, you're innovative. You're the one who gets to do these things because you're an innovator. But I never said that. And I never had a tool that made it real for people so they could actually physically see how they innovate. For the other 99% of us who don't have VP of ideas in our title, who weren't deemed the creative ones from an early age, who don't paint and draw as a hobby, how do we innovate? And she was the first moment that really made me realize I need to make this tangible and real for people. I know you're an innovator. I know all of us are innovators, but we don't know we are, and we don't know how we innovate so that we can even do it. Because even if I said to you, hey, Rebecca, you're an innovator. Hey, Randy, you're an innovator. But if I don't tell you how are you supposed to know? And that cold slap across that face that woman gave me was the first moment that I realized it's time to make it tangible and real. I can't expect people to connect the dots on their own. Of course not. And the things that I was talking about were big and fluffy and exciting and innovative, but didn't apply to all these people I was talking about in all these other industries and with all these other job titles. So thank you for that, whoever you were. Now, the third experience was something that I had personally years ago, right before I developed the Innovation Quotient Edge assessment. And it's what kind of brought Steve and this woman who came to me as I was walking off the stage, kind of brought it all together to accelerate the development. So I have this big project I'm working on for the business, and I've got a lot to do. And I swear it felt like every time I marked one thing off my to-do list, 10 more things came on. And on top of that, I had really worked on being innovative. So I was constantly coming up with new ideas. I was constantly looking at different ways to do things, but it started to feel like that was slowing me down. So I thought to myself, all right, Tamara, you got to be productive. You got to get the job done. So the deal I made with myself was no innovation for 3 months while I got this monster to-do list off my desk. And I dug in and I worked day and night to check everything off this to-do list and finish up this project. We were launching a new service into the market. And I was so proud of myself. I was so excited at what I had accomplished and my pages of to-do list. By the way, I kept them all. I was so proud of them that I kept them all. I was like the most productive person in the world for 3 months. Then a couple things happened. First, at the end of that, after I got all the nitty gritty, like all the back end stuff done, it was time to launch the product into the market, the service. And I needed some marketing. I needed an innovative way to get this out to our clients. And so I thought to myself, all right, Tamara, time to turn the spigot back on, time to be an innovator again. And nothing happened. My brain was dusty. It was weak. I couldn't have come up with a good idea if I had leapt up and down and done 50 cartwheels to try to get everything moving. It wasn't happening. I had spent 3 months telling my brain, you're not innovative. Don't do it. Do not drive innovation. Just be productive. Just do your to-do list. Because of that, I was unable to come up with anything. I had trained my brain out of being an innovator. I didn't know that was possible. I thought you either had it or you didn't. I'm going to talk more about the science and the style of innovation in our next video and a couple of pages down. But no, I couldn't do it. Couldn't make it happen. And on top of that, guess what? Some of those awesome to-do lists, things that I got off my to-do list, I didn't do that well. I just got them off. I got the work done, but they weren't quality, they weren't innovative, and they didn't get the job done. I had to go back. So not being an innovator actually cost me time and money on the back end. So that experience taught me that we can all be innovators. We all are innovators. We just have to train ourselves. We just have to practice intentionally. And for most of us, when I hear people say being an innovative, like that's not for me, like it's, what they're really saying is it's dormant. I haven't practiced. My muscle is weak. Again, more about that in the science and style of innovation. Those three experiences came together. First, Steve not showing up, making me realize that innovation is actually something we're all capable of, and it comes from everywhere and anywhere, especially where you least expect it. The woman coming to me from stage and making me realize, hey, people don't understand how this applies to them. They think this isn't for them because they don't have a tool that makes them realize how they innovate and actually helps them dial it up in practice, which leads into my third experience with you trying to shut it down and actually training my brain out of being an innovator, not going to the gym of innovation and working it out every day, and actually making it harder for myself and not getting things done in a way that actually would have been working smarter on the back end. Those three experiences came together to bring the Innovation Quotient Edge assessment to life, because I wanted to give you a tool that helps you truly understand how you in your way innovate. I'm not asking you to be something you're not. I'm asking you to amplify and dial up what's already inside of you. It is you at your best. So that's what you're going to get by taking the Innovation Quotient Edge assessment. You at your best. You're going to perform at your peak, have a stronger valued voice, be a better creative problem solver, strategic thinker, decision maker, find those innovative ideas, those solutions, those opportunities hiding in plain sight.